Hello and welcome back to the Obojima Podcast. My name is Jeremiah and I'm joined with Adam, and we are some of the writers for Obojima. And you are joining us for our weekly writers meeting where we sit down and we talk about D&D, we talk about Obojima, we talk about other things. And today we are doing a little sneak peek of some of the feats that might be coming in an upcoming book. Obojima Tales from Yatamon, the newest book in the series. So we're going to talk about some of the feats that we already have, that we've made, or that we're concepting, and then a few other fun ideas. But the idea here behind these feats is that they're all feats that were conceptualized or at least connected to the major city, Yatamon. Mm-hmm. So they're all going to be kind of have this city vibe to them. And so we're going to go through the list. We're going to come up with some options and just kind of talk about some ideas here.
Cool.
So the first one and the most important one, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
The one that I think is the coolest, at least.
Sweet.
Is vehicle expert.
Oh, yes.
So this is finally, the vehicle expert might be a feat that already exists. Perhaps. I'm not sure. But there's new context here because Obojima vehicles are first age vehicles like Vespas and K-trucks and cars and bicycles and things like that. And so really what we're saying with this feat idea is that this person is hyper skilled at driving first age tech. That's what we're going for.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like an Obojima and you're just used to like mules or donkeys or maybe a horse or whatever, you're not used to like a moped. That's just bonkers.
So
here you go.
We've got some ideas here. I'd love to maybe we can come up with some other options too. So the first one here is granting a higher AC while driving the vehicle. Vehicles in general, if you don't know, have damage thresholds and ACs attached to them. And so like an easy thing that we could do is we could increase damage thresholds, we could increase ACs, and this basically makes your vehicle more defensible when riding inside of it.
Or if you're going to try like pulling a trick, like popping a wheelie or like driving on two wheels or taking a sharp turn or doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe some skills.
Maybe it's like advantage on like doing fancy maneuverable craziness on vehicles, which I think is pretty cool. Anytime you're doing a jump or having to pull off a crazy maneuver, having advantage, I think is great. What are some other cool things you could potentially do? I think an option here, and this is something that kind of comes with fleshing out the vehicle mechanics in general in Obojima, which we will be doing. I like the idea of like the getaway driver being able to slide up and like pop the back door and like scoop someone up really quickly in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's easier for people to get in and out of your vehicle. And you can kind of like have them bonus action scoop someone up as you drive by them. That's cool. Which I think is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Other fun vehicle options. Maybe there's a little mechanical attack options with some vehicles. Like maybe you can do a little scoot slide bump and hit someone or something like that, which could be fun.
Yeah, open your door and bonk,
Oh, I love the little side door slam.
Like body check.
That's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. I wonder if there's like pull a little Akira slide on a Vespa in some way where you can come to like extreme halts and do like crazy turns.
Yeah, or like if you had to, there was like a thin little like strip of like let's say you're on a bridge and it's really busy, but the rails on the side of the bridge, like they're these stone wall, like you could pop up and like kind of do an ollie and jump up onto the rail of the bridge and then drive across. It's like you got like balance.
Little acrobatic balance checks. I like that. But overall, I think this is super cool. I want like with this feat, what I really want is to, if people are taking it, I want them to feel encouraged to utilize this vehicle in all manners of ways.
Cool.
But probably not super incentivized to like super combatify them. Like we want them doing other fun and flavorful things. It also could be that like maybe a vehicle expert can utilize if you're using a spirit whelmed vehicle, you might get boons or bonuses if you have a spirit in your vehicle, certain things like that. You might have like additional magical options that like your spirit grants you while whelming the vehicle.
You could also know how to like repair a vehicle. Like if you found one that was all broken down, you could be like, I'm a vehicle expert. I know how to fix it.
I can fix it up. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Because
pretty fun.
There might be a situation where, a vehicle isn't able to be whelmed because it's so broken down. So you could get it into whelmable shape.
I just realized maybe there's a fun little table we can make that's like little bonuses you can add to your vehicle. Oh. Like little magical trinkets and things. Like, what if your light bulb? What if you're the headlight of your Vespa? You can like supercharge and blind someone, and it pops it, and then you have to go get a new light bulb.
Fix it. Yeah, that's cool.
That's
like
fun.
You can overcharge it.
Yeah, Swoop. I kind of like that.
That's
something
neat.
cool.
I wonder if like you could also do something similar with like a burst of speed.
Yeah.
Like let's say you're either racing somebody or you've got to get away from something, some monsters coming after you, and you fail your roll and you're like, crap, I'm going to get caught. Well, you could overclock your engine and blow it out, but you can take double dash or something.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that. Kind of like the it's almost like you're going to get that extra oomph at the cost of your vehicle's not going to operate until you fix it. You spend 25 gold and get some extra. I think that's really fun. I think that's super, super flavorful. I like that quite a bit.
Neat. Yeah.
I like that quite a bit. Okay, so some of the other options here, some of the other things. I don't know who wrote Connoisseur. Is that you or Ari? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it might be Ari.
But I think it's great. I think this is super flavorful.
Or maybe I wrote it. I don't know.
You have a refined palate and appreciation for the finest things Obojima has to offer, from the rarest potion ingredients to the most artfully crafted food. So this one is, I'll just read it as Ari and or you wrote it because I think it's really fun. Increase wisdom score. You gain proficiency in brewer supplies and cook's utensils. You can spend 10 minutes with an ingredient or potion to determine its properties without an ability check, which I think is pretty cool. And then when you eat a good meal, you're filled with exquisite joy. It's such a degree that you can choose the following. You can either gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus, or you gain 1 inspiration die, which I think is really, really cool. Yeah. And then impressive banter, which I think is really fun. At a banquet or formal occasion or tea ceremony, you gain advantage on all charisma checks as you have impressive banter. I love how flavorful this feat is. But it's, the Connoisseur is so great. And it's like, it's very much so, it's not being like, I'm a hyper skilled chef. It's like, I'm expertly good at like being the life of a party and enjoying and like finding joy in the food, which I think is great. I love the character that walks down the street and it's like, an apple carrot, so beautiful. Like it's so fun. I think this character and this feat is so, so, so fun.
Cool.
So we also have feline instincts, which is a feat option. So this is interesting, right? This is a feat option that I believe is given to you when you get the raised by cats background.
Yeah.
And so this gives you the ability to speak with cats. You gain a handful of keen sense abilities like bonuses and investigation checks, intelligence checks, and then potentially some arcane options as well. And then I think we're still working out and fleshing out how the feline landing and agility is all going to work out. Yeah. And like being able to not be knocked prone, those types of things. But the idea here that you've got some sort of, like, as you were raised by cats, you have grown up with these skill sets that you weren't born with necessarily, but learned over time with your cat parents. Kind of teaching you the ways, which I think is super fun. We have the haggler here. So you have a natural talent for negotiation and a keen eye for a good deal. Skill that is invaluable in Yatamon's cosmopolitan markets. So you have, when you fail a charisma persuasion check while haggling, the target's attitude towards you doesn't worsen unless you fail by 10 or more. Silver tongue, when you make a charisma persuasion check to negotiate over a price or trade value, may roll an additional d4 and add that to the results. Market savvy, you have a keen eye for a good deal. You can determine the fair market value of a non-magical item for a brief inspection. All of these I think are really fun and flavorful, but what I actually think is missing here is like a really strong core ability. So what would be like a good core ability for a haggler that you might get here?
So the
3 ones they have right now is they can determine the value of an object by inspecting it.
You need that.
They can increase the value of an object when you are kind of like persuading to get it. Like you can kind of bump up the cost when trying to sell or remove the cost if you need to. And then the other one is you kind of save face. Like if you try to persuade someone and you fail, they always kind of like...
They don't hate your guts.
They don't hate your guts. And the first thing I would do is I would probably get rid of that in haggling. I would just say, whenever you make a persuasion check, if you fail, they still are kind of like, all right, but I kind of like this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just like a fun narrative. Like, you're good. You're just good at kind of like dancing the dance. Like, even afterwards, they respect you, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really fun. But I do think there needs to be like a core ability that you can use outside. So
outside of those, what is the trope of haggling?
I think, in my opinion, you're a smooth talker. You kind of know it's like a card game, right? You know when to fold, you know when not to fold. You're having this little battle of wits back and forth. I wonder if maybe you kind of have this boon where you can kind of throw in, you can almost add to other people's persuasion or deception rolls where you're almost like an assist character where you could kind of be like someone saying something, like you could see two people arguing and then you can kind of come in from behind and be like, I've just learned this extra information that might help you.
Yeah.
The barbarians arguing with the guard, and then you come over and go, oh, God, it's so good to find you. I didn't realize the prince of the local town is here. And the guard's like, oh, like you're kind of able to give that little boon. So maybe there's like a mini inspiration you might be able to give.
That's
or
cool.
Just full on inspiration.
Yeah. Or advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
interesting.
But in the context of haggling, so haggling means that you're trying to buy or sell something.
It's weird, right? Because you kind of want something that works in haggling, but then also works outside of haggling, because how often are you haggling in D&D?
That's true. Yeah.
So you want something that like applies to haggling, but then is universally utilized outside of it.
So is this like, I remember in James Bond role-playing game, there was a skill called savoir-faire. Which means like you just kind of know wherever you go, you know like what the right champagne is, and you know what the right suit to wear, and you know like what the culture sort of sees as like cool and hip or whatever. And so no matter where you go, you just make your savoir-faire roll, and it just kind of makes sure that you come off like looking cool. So this feels like shifting from haggling to maybe like something like a savoir-faire where you're just enhancing your societal cachet, like your social points are through the roof.
Yeah, you've got this like maybe almost like street knowledge potentially.
Yeah,
where it's like
street knowledge, culture knowledge.
Yeah.
Plus like just some kind of crazy charisma that you've got. Like,
yeah, I think the first thing is I'd probably give you a charisma, like just a straight pure +1 to charisma. So that's probably what I would start with. And then, maybe you just have like, maybe in addition to what we've got here, you've kind of got this like street knowledge. Maybe we could build it into market savvy, where you can determine the value of a non-magical trinket. Maybe it's just like, maybe you kind of have this knack for any village or town you go into, like you can sniff out the market like pretty quick. Like you can kind of find an object. Like, oh, what do you need? You need chainmail? Give me a second. I'll find this chainmail. Like, you kind of like really easily can work your way to anything that you're trying to procure, which I think could be really cool in markets, especially because markets are, like imagine going to, not only Yatamon, but going to Alua and being let me work my way. Like, I'll figure this out.
Or you go into Toggle, and you, like there's all these like stalls and things like there's some people like people who work in pawn markets or like antiques people where they just know what quality items are. Yeah. And some of it comes from their study of just things that were made in the past. But then some of it, I think, is just that they just know what quality is. Yeah. And they've got this sort of like magical ability. Like that could be what this feat is that you just kind of know what the value of things are and whether something is worth something or not.
Maybe you could also determine whether a first stage object is broken beyond repair within an instant. You're like, no.
Yeah, like
this one's garbage.
Yeah. This is not working.
I like that.
That's
I like
neat.
that quite a bit.
That's very valuable in Obojima land because like you're going to be going from village to village. Every village is different, but to just know the value of things and also to know whether something is workable or not, like and if it needs to be fixed, it's like that's super valuable.
That's fun.
And where to get stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay, so these are some of the pre-made ones. Now let's try to come up with some fun ideas just on our own here. Okay. So what are some feats that might get derived from like the first stage city, Man. Like obviously you kind of go to like what's important, what people care about. I could see some sort of like spirit-based feat being associated with Yatamon. I could see a feat that's like maybe let me go and find what feats. Oh, do we have a book nearby? Hold on, we're getting a book on counter. I want to see what feats we have from the first book so I can double check. Do we have a witch apprentice feat?
I don't think so. No.
I think we might have a witch apprentice background. Oh, so we have a coven witch. So we have a coven witch. That's essentially the feat. Okay. So something associated with spirits potentially, something we could connect some of the feats to some of the new factions if we wanted to. Like we could make a Yoka Scout feat.
That's cool.
Which could be really fun. That'd be like oriented towards like sniffing out demons and let's talk about some of these faction feats. So let's say if we did a Yoka Scout feat, who are, an organization based on kind of rooting out, minor demons and things like that. So we'd probably have something for sniffing out demons. We'd probably have some damage boosts associated with them.
And they're kind of like rowdy rebels too.
They are kind of rowdy rebels.
And they don't take they don't pay attention to laws so much.
No,
they kind of think they think they're a little bit above everything else. Like their job is more important than the tavern keepers. Like they'll wreck a tavern just to do their job. Yeah. And they're like,
But they're also fairly good at working together too. So I could also see like some like reckless nature, but also being able to like really capitalize off your allies and things like that.
Yeah. So like a pack tactic kind of vibe.
What could be cool is potentially an option to like sniff out a spirit that's turning into a demon. So if a spirit is like, you can kind of like, maybe you can sit and observe a spirit and see, if it's making the transformation. Alternatively, you could have, bonuses to tracking down demons and things like that.
Be able to see signs of demons. Yeah. Maybe demons leave behind, like line up everything on your mantelpiece. Yeah. Because they're obsessive or something like that. And the Yoka Scout can come in and just see that and be like, oh yeah, you got a pest demon.
I also like the idea of maybe you can set a DC where it's like the demon's CR plus 10 is the DC, and you can roll a history check and you might just know about that demon. So it's like, depending on the demon's CR, you can kind of like, you always have a little bit, you don't have the extensive knowledge, but you're like, oh, that's a Goro. We got to be careful. Yeah. Ooh. And that's cool. That's just like fun flavor you might have.
Let's say there was a demon and you could, there were certain like, if you took eucalyptus leaves and you crush them up, and then you poured linseed oil, and you took a piece of garlic and you wrapped it in a leaf and you left it, that could repel certain demons, or certain demons found it irresistible, like it was a lure. Like they might know stuff like that, like things that are, kind of tricks that you can trap demons. Like if it's like, oh, I can set up a demon trap, and this thing, they find it irresistible, I'll put it in the trap, leave it, and then the next day you have a demon in a trap.
That's pretty cool. We could make we could even make a spell, like a cantrip, that's called Demon Lure.
Ooh.
That they just get access to.
Dig it. Yeah, that's super powerful.
That's pretty fun. I like that. You kind of want to give them a combat related thing, right? Like a little scrimmagey, because they're quick to. I think they're quick to fight off demons.
I like
quick to draw a weapon. I think.
Yeah, they're kind of our fighty faction. Maybe I like the idea you mentioned earlier about they combo with each other, like they work well together. So maybe there's a combat where they give each other bonuses or something. Yeah,
it could just be like if they're within 5 feet of an ally, then they deal an extra D4 damage.
Yeah,
where it's just like they get that little extra damage boost, which I think would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's neat.
That's cool. Okay, so what else do we got going on associated with the city that could be fun? We have the vehicles. We already have witch coven related things. I love the connoisseur. I love the haggler. I think that's all great. We could do a performance based one, one that's like, again, more oriented towards charisma, but we already have the haggler and we already have the food person here, the connoisseur.
I mean, you had an interesting kind of like question earlier, which was like, when you play an adventure in Yatamon, what are you going to be doing generally? Yeah. Like you mentioned, like you're not going to be doing a lot of haggling. Like, every now and then you might haggle for something, but it's not going to be like something you're going to be doing a lot. Like when you think of an adventure in Yatamon, what is something you're going to be doing a lot?
Yeah.
So you're going to be investigating a lot.
You're going to be investigating.
You're going to be...
Oh, the reporter.
Love it.
The reporter feat could be great.
Okay, that'd be great.
I think
that's really cool.
I think that's the background. We have a background, but we could have a feat associated with it too.
Maybe there's a couple feats in a reporter. It might be robust enough to add a few
some options. Yeah, a lot of investigation type oriented mechanics, which I think could be really cool.
Like, what are reportery tropes? Like you're hard hitting.
You're hard hitting. Your insight is probably like
dialed up.
I also, you can kind of give like almost like a second wind ability where they can kind of like burn the midnight oil.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Get a little something
they
extra.
Get obsessed, they're like writing. I got to get this story out.
And this is kind of interesting. This is almost pushing into divination magic on the level that I'm thinking. But like, there's like, oh, I roll a skill check to investigate, and then you're like, I get obsessive over it, and you have to spend like 6 hours or something like that. You have to spend a time slot, but then you learn like this extra above and beyond information where you really get the scoop. You go and question people, and then you have like the DM shares like a little more information, even beyond what your role would allow for, because you like took the time to sit and investigate. Yeah. You spent all night. You should have been resting. Everyone else took a thing, and you've got paper spread everywhere. And
I mean, the reporter could almost bleed into like an AHA like member that is researching. Like, let's say you're an AHA member and you're looking at you're researching Nakadama tombs and something. You're like trying to find out like what was the history of the Nakadama. Like so much of it was lost, and that kind of thing where you're doing so much research. You're finding old stone tablets, and you've gone out into the field and you've collected little artifacts, and you're like trying to piece the puzzle together.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
That feat could also be for a player who's like, I want to be an AHA.
I think with AHA member. we push into history.
Yeah,
I think where AHA could be like the overlap might be investigation, but AHA might be history and investigation, and then with the reporter it might be investigation and insight.
Yeah.
Which I think could be really great.
Yeah, AHA could go into like history and arcane, or
Yeah.
Like
or Arcana. Yeah.
Arcana.
Arcane.
Arcana. I think Arcana.
I think it's Arcana.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd know.
No, it's all a blur.
Yeah, I like the Arcana.
Yeah, history vibe.
Arcana history vibe. We even talked about this. Is something we just started talking about with like the idea that a first age object that's being whelmed by a spirit, if no one has ever uncovered what that does, then the spirit itself might uncover like what this first age object does. And that could be a portion of this feat, is like maybe they have
identify.
Yeah.
Identify.
They might just have like a minor version of identify that they can kind of do at will, where they can kind of detect what a first age object might be.
That's cool.
Which I think is really
You're going to use that a lot.
All the time.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, what is this?
Yanari Market, you go in there, there's this identify up the wazoo.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking is we could do like a mechanic-based feat. Let me just double check to make sure we don't have a mechanic here. Okay, cool. So the feature of a mechanic is essentially that feature we were just talking about with the haggler, which is the ability to uncover what a first age object, if a first age object is sundered or not, basically destroyed.
Yeah.
Now, because backgrounds are now incorporated into feats and other things like that, in the 2024 version, this feature has actually been pulled. So it would be an option for us to reintroduce this in the 2024 version.
Oh, cool.
That said, the mechanic, I'm not saying mechanic as a feat, but like the tinkerer or something that can kind of like play with the, not that we can do an artificer, but we could kind of tippy-toe into the artificer options here with a mechanical oriented character. Someone who's taking apart first age tech and getting it operating in some way. Or even just, a craftsman, as we kind of to harken back to our construct video that we did a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Where we kind of talk about what a constructs look like, which, by the way, I'm a fool because in that video, I'm like, we only have 2 construct options. There's a giant robot in Toggle. There's a giant metal construct loose in the woods. And someone was like, why didn't you bring that up? I don't know why we didn't bring that up.
That's the thing that like Holly needs a part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's built with this like special metal. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We're dumb.
Just completely forgot.
We're so dumb.
We just make things and forget about them. We just let them loose in the world, and then we're like, we forgot that there's a robot out there running around.
I think people would love a little mechanical, or not necessarily an artificer, but an artificer.
A smartificer.
Someone who might be able to mechanically manipulate some stuff and make little trinkets and stuff.
Someone who does it, an artificer that doesn't violate the SRD.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're gonna make.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
So I think a feat could be really cool. Something that just like covers some minor trinket options. Maybe you can make some mechanical things, which could be cool. Obviously, you could have the jolt spell. Maybe a different version of jolt if we wanted maybe a jolt that lasts a little bit longer.
Ooh. Yeah, or like you are able to have spirits, like use a spirit and have it whelm it.
Yeah.
Like a jolt spirit.
Kind of cool. There's something there.
Yeah.
There's something fun and flavorful there. It really comes down to if you're making a construct type creature, for a feat, it'd have to be incredibly minor.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be something like a companion, like a find familiar type situation. If you're not doing that, you can kind of lean into some of the electronical gadgets and gizmos, where you could maybe there's like 3 gadgets you can make, and you kind of pick at the beginning of the day which one you choose to get functioning. Like it's like an inventor who has 3 devices, and during the day you can only ever get one of them working. It's like what am I for? Okay, I'm fixing this thing.
Yeah.
I
mean, it could be cool. Like, imagine you've got a bunch of 9-volt batteries, and you can jolt a battery, and it stores it, and so you can use that jolt spell. It's almost like a scroll.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have the battery. It's got the jolt spell, and as soon as you put it in your device, then it's like the spell is actually cast.
That's cool. I really like that.
It'd be cool.
You can hand out little jolts to people to use. That's fun. That's really fun. Okay. So what else is associated with the city that we could kind of play around with that could be fun?
So we had reporter can do investigative stuff. Is there anything else about a reporter? I'm just trying to like wring the last drop out of that.
I mean, investigative, there's probably some deep connection options you could potentially do, like a network of people you could rely on. We could give this person like but like a connection in the spirit realm, like they know a guy type situation.
Yeah.
Which could be really fun.
That'd be a fun feat. Like, I know a guy.
Yeah. Which could be really cool. I could see them having abilities associated with not like a network of thieves, but a network of like the news, I guess, where there's like people all around
their connections,
the world, where they can kind of call on bits of information. And like, I'm not sure they also might have ties to the courier brigade too, now that I'm thinking about it.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that's who they'd, how they kind of know about like what's going on in the world or on the island.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Other things reporters do. I'm trying to think of what else reporters might have that's like their hard-hitting investigative journalist. I mean, depending on which type of reporter, you can kind of be a little stealthy. You can kind of be a little manipulative and deceptive with how you're presenting yourself and disguising yourself as other people.
You could even just be able to disguise, or like be able to sneak into places, or I mean, depending on how kind of scrupulous your reporter is, like they might be able to that'd be more like a magic item though, like a bug. That records. It's
so funny to think of the reporters being like our equivalent of the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
I can get you news. Yeah. I can get you news anywhere in the world, buddy.
I can get you anything you want.
That's really funny. Yeah, we've kind of covered a lot of it. I mean, performance is something that we could make a specific city performer,
or which like a busker.
Yeah, a busker of sorts. You could also, we could do like just the standard raised in Yatamon feat, right? Which, could just be associated with the benefits and of having knowledge of the city and, probably have some access to a spell or two or a cantrip because we kind of claim that as you exist in Yatamon, you get to...
That's cool.
You get some of those things.
Could also do it where we break, like under the Raised by Yatamon header, we could break it down by neighborhood too. Like if you want to specialize and say, hey, I was born in the Endo neighborhood. It's like, then you would get you would know everybody in that neighborhood. People would recognize you. You would know where all the places are. You'd know all the locations where everything's at. You might even know some secrets that are, not known by the general rest of the public,
That's cool.
Like some secret stuff. Maybe like each neighborhood has maybe like 4 cool secrets about it that nobody knows.
You could have like a way to build trust with anyone in the city. You might just like have as a local, you might have advantage on certain checks, just, around either charisma based or maybe intelligence, investigate. Like people are just more likely to trust you as a local or bring you in.
Or you could be famous.
You could be famous.
Like, I mean, that could be a thing. Like you're famous in Yatamon for something, and then you can pick, like, we could suggest like 5. This is 5 reasons why you're famous in Yatamon.
That's fun. I like having like almost like making the folk hero background, but as a feat, where like people know you, and then you kind of get this like this extra special treatment in certain areas.
You always get a table in any restaurant you go to. Everybody knows you.
I think that's fun.
Yeah, that's a fun role playing device. Like you got one person in the party who's got that. They've spent, they got the feat, and then they're just like wherever you go, it's like, oh, Tanjiro.
That's pretty cool. What about a feat for the young stewards? Because like the young stewards exist within Yatamon.
So the background would be like, you were a young steward that was like your troop was stationed in Yatamon. Yeah. That was your troop. And you have all these like skills, and you know people, like, and again, we could code it to a neighborhood where you were a young steward, but your neighborhood was this, and you did like, you cleaned up you trimmed all the hedges, and the neighbors know you.
You probably know all these like back routes throughout the city or throughout Obojima in a certain region. You have like
secret doors and tunnels, or you can know about how to skip across rooftops or go into sewers, and
probably you might pick like
subways.
Maybe you have like a list of different things young stewards could be good at, and you get to pick 2 or 3 of them. So you're like great at like survival and like harvesting, or survival and stealth, or you're great at like teamwork, and like you just have like, you kind of like, as a young steward, there's all of these kind of options that young stewards these facets of the community of young stewards, and you get to pick a handful of them. That kind of determines which type of young steward you were.
That's cool. What about if
they could be badges, like which badges you've collected. These are the 3 badges I have.
That's great, because each one is for one, you get to illustrate each badge, which would be super cool. But for 2, each badge is its own little skill set that you get.
That's fun. And then if you took the feat again, you would just get more of those badges.
It's the collecting badges thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that. We just have to figure out what all those things are.
Yeah. How about a feat that, or it could be a background where like how all the subways connect, the ones that do. Like some subways have collapsed and there's no way, but you could have a thing where you're like, if you're in the subway, you're not hopelessly lost. Like you've got a general idea of where you are, and maybe some tricky ways to get out, or some. It's
like our version of like a cave diver.
Yeah.
Like you have like this like subterranean knowledge.
Yeah.
That you're
like a spelunker.
A spelunker of sorts.
Yeah.
You can all the subway systems. So as you're traveling below them, you kind of know where you are at all times. You probably have like certain benefits, like you might know all the creatures that exist down there, how to combat them. That's kind of fun.
You're not disoriented down there. You always kind of know where north is.
Yeah.
It's a little dwarfy that way. Like you kind of have dwarf skills.
That's how we get Ari's dwarves in Obojima.
Yeah.
What about and this is weird, but what about like a tagger, like a graffiti artist feat, where you have like
you're one of the Goro-Goros?
You're one of the Goro-Goros. Yeah, you could have like a specific tag that you're well known for that you can leave around on Obojima, and it's like, again, like a way for people to know you. You might know like it's how like thieves have thief cant, and they have like you can kind of leave
notes,
messages and notes. Maybe there's like specialty messages and notes left.
That might come under you're famous in Yatamon, but you're not famous overtly, you're famous covertly. Like you're a kind of like a Bansky type.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. So you're famous, people know about you, but they only know about your persona, like your tagging handle.
Maybe you always have access to the potion. What's the potion that lets you paint with your fingers? You have like that endless. There's a potion that lets you paint endlessly.
Yeah.
So you could have that. What could be like fun things you could do with that feat? We could even add a little like utility combat type thing in there where you can like spray. You can like disengage by spraying.
You're like an octopus.
Paint.
Like you just do an ink cloud.
Yeah.
And you run away.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of paint related abilities. Maybe there's some magic, like some arcane stuff that you can kind of introduce into your graffiti.
It could be like you could spray it in, people's footprints. Like if you could track somebody.
That's interesting.
It's like magic that way.
Oh man, a graffiti artist wizard is just like a really interesting subclass idea.
Ooh.
Just someone who's utilizing the art, or maybe it's a bard who's using the art of graffiti as a way to enchant magic. Or not enchant magic, but cast magic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Could be a bard, could be a wizard, could be a sorcerer. No, sorcerer, yeah.
You could have like tags everywhere, and wherever a tag exists, you can divine through them, so see through it. Now we're just making a subclass.
It kind of all roads eventually lead back to.
We never cannot go on tangents.
Oh man, well that's part of it.
Well,
when people watch the Obojima podcast, they know it's fraught with tangents.
Here's the thing, we're gonna end it. I know it's that time. Should we make a graffiti artist bard subclass? Because that's kind of cool.
Or graffiti artist wizard too.
Would you want to see graffiti artist subclass? Let us know in the comments below. Is that cool or is that lame?
Yeah.
Am I reading into it? Should this just be a feat? Or is it really awesome?
Should it be a whole subclass with magic paint?
Because it'd be really cool. With the magic paint.
Yeah.
You could do like make circles, like spell circles and things like that in the ground.
Yeah. You could like draw like a portal and then walk through it in a wall.
That's cool. You could magically tag someone, track them.
Yeah.
You could paint like on a non-existent wall, but like defensive. Like you could paint a brick wall or like a shield in front of you.
Yeah. You could create a stone wall.
That's kind of cool.
You could draw a person or a creature and it comes to life and it goes like a paint construct.
Is it like whatever that wizard is, the transmutation wizard, the wizard that lets you turn objects into nothing or like create objects from nothing? Conjuration.
Conjuration, yeah.
It's like Conjuration Wizard where you can spray paint an object and then reach into the wall and pull it out.
Yeah.
All right. It's cool. I don't know.
Let
we
us
think
know.
It's cool.
Are we crazy?
Should we do something with that? Thank you so much for joining us. Check out the Kickstarter, which may or may not be live. Who's to say? Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, D&D all those Beyond. Things. Check us out on D&D Beyond and our website. And we'll catch you all later. Thank you. Bye.
Hello.